Hey everybody! Okay, so this video will be about opening, cleaning, and reassembling your Nintendo 64 controller. Now this is just my process that I go through. You probably will be doing it differently or using different materials or anything like that. I'm not going to detail clean any of these controllers because that involves waiting for it to dry out and everything after you clean it. So I'm just going to show you, what I usually do to clean inside a controller and outside a controller. So just to prove that cleaning inside of a controller is completely and 100% safe, I am going to use the Millennium 2000 controller. Now, this will just kind of prove that cleaning a controller inside and taking apart, the case and shell is completely and 100% safe. Now the tools that I usually like to use, just a Phillips head screwdriver and just a flathead screwdriver. Obviously if you've never opened up your controller, then taking the screws out might be a little bit difficult. So you might need to just, use a flathead screwdriver. I find it easier to open it up that way. I actually have a cleaning kit and it comes with a solution here. I can't remember what's in this actually, but it's not just water, but you can find these online, just search for Nintendo 64 cleaning kit and it'll give you these really nice towels too to use for the solution. Now this stuff is actually meant to use on the button sensors inside. So this is for cleaning the button sensors, but I use it to clean pretty much the rest of the controller. It does a pretty good job with it too. So for the outside of the controller, obviously, just taking a damp paper towel or anything like that and just cleaning off all the dust or any sort of stickiness or anything on the controller here. And obviously, you just want to let it dry or air dry or anything. With inside the controller cleaning, if you ever use any sort of damp anything or even rubbing alcohol, you want to make sure that it does air dry just to be safe, for like a few hours, maybe even just half a day or something like that. You don't want any moisture inside the controller. Alright, so let's open this up. This is how you open your controller up. Like I said before, if it hasn't been opened for a while, obviously the screws will be sticky. So let me show you all the screws here. There's two up here, two there, one there. So, it's very standard. It's very obvious seeing the screws there, so you know how many there are there. Now one thing you don't want to forget, there are two little screws inside here where you put the controller pack in. So you want to make sure you get those out first instead of trying to get the controller out, because you will break it, and that's not very good. So let me unscrew this and see what's inside. Okay, once you get the big screws out, you want to make sure to put them in a safe place, that way they don't get lost. So we'll just kind of push them out of the way over here. Okay, now for these little screws, what I found out, which is the easiest, you want to unscrew them, but don't completely take them out. Just kind of let them sit in their little mold. That way, putting it back in isn't as difficult, because finding the little hole in here is actually very hard. So just make sure they're loose and whatever, and you can just pull the lid right off. And just kind of set that aside over here. Now, this is what the inside of a Nintendo 64 controller looks like. Obviously the inside of a Millennium controller looks a lot cooler because it's, it's silver. It's very neat. As you can tell right away, this controller is in really good condition. So the first thing that usually I do to clean a controller is just take out, every single part of the controller that you can take out with the L and R buttons, and then what you want to do is take out the thumbstick. Now how to do that, this also is a good example of replacing a thumbstick if you're curious about it. There are three screws that you need to unscrew here. So let me just do these really fast. So if you want to replace your thumbstick, as a collector, you obviously want the older thumbstick. You don't want the new aftermarket thumbstick at all, because to a collector's eyes, it's just not, it's not satisfying, I guess. So the old, or the new thumbstick looks a little bit like this. Obviously it's more of like a, kind of like an Xbox 360 sort of look to it. Just like a newer age thumbstick. This obviously is designed for a longer flick and a longer tightness to the thumbstick. If you like sensitive thumbsticks while playing games, this is definitely something you want because, you know, one little jerk of the thumbstick will, you know, completely turn you around. So it is good to game with, but obviously I'm not very impressed with the way it looks. I think it looks a little tacky, I guess, but if you do like it, you know, you should get these. They don't cost very much and they are being sold still, so go ahead and get one if you're not a collector and you just want to look for thumbsticks that are good for gaming. So back to this, you obviously have the 3 screws undone now, and well, you're not done yet. So basically there is, this is the Z button here. So you want to carefully take it out of the little brackets there and just push it off to the side. It doesn't matter. This part actually can come off, so you can just take it off right here. I'll just take off everything pretty much. And then once you get that off, you take this out. It's still connected obviously to the board. You just want to simply, you know, whatever, I don't even know what kind of word to use there, but you just want to simply just rock it out of the little component there. And you're good to go. Now obviously the Millennium controller is a bad example for replacing thumbsticks because you don't want to replace it because this is black. Same with all the buttons. I usually replace buttons if, you know, they're not in good condition. That's why having all those spare controllers sometimes is a good thing because I replace screws with my better controllers. So, you know, if you have an extra one that has better screws in it and you want it to use with your better controller, then you just switch it out. It's that simple. Now, the R and L buttons do come out, and you can take off this little bumper here, which are 2 different colors. And yeah, inside every controller, you know, these pads here can be different colors, so, you know, not all of them are blue. Sometimes they're light blue, sometimes they're this color, sometimes they're gray. It's all just different. Just take out the cord there. You'll see that, you know, it's been there for a while. Obviously, it still has the little dent in the cord there. And basically, you can just take this whole entire board out. That's what it looks like. Pretty cool, huh? So set that aside for now. Okay. This is what it looks like without any of the circuits in there or anything like that. These also come out, and then just take out all the actual buttons here. Just keep taking them out. Yes, they are all black buttons. If this was a regular controller, obviously they'd be different colors. Okay, this is what it looks like without any sort of buttons or anything in it. Pretty cool. Now if you have an old controller, obviously you'll be noticing spots where you can clean. So what you want to do is you want to take water, or if you do have this cleaning solution, you want to take a little bit of this and just kind of work around over here, like near the buttons is usually where you can find the most grime and stuff like that. Even inside the buttons here, you'll see sometimes just like some brown yucky stuff, so you want to make sure to clean that all out. You know, look really closely into the grooves and everything like that. Even the insides here of the mold, you will sometimes notice some stuff there, so you want to make sure to get all of that in there. Obviously this controller has been taken very nicely care of because, you know, there's not really anything that I need to clean. So, you know, just make sure you work all the insides, really look closely at it, you know. Make sure none of them have anything going on in there. As for the buttons, you basically do the same thing, you know, make sure they're all wiped down clean. Make sure, you know, there's nothing on the inside, no, you know, dust or even like spider webs or anything like that in there. So, you know, make sure everything is nicely clean. Now for the solution here, like I said, we use it on pretty much those pressure points where the buttons, you know, click to activate it. So this stuff, like I said, it's meant for that. So you want to put a little bit on a Q-tip, and you can just rub it. You can rub it on there, and it's actually meant to clean. And, you know, they say that, you know, you can actually fix a button if it's not working. This stuff will actually fix it, or just help it out with the stickiness of your button if your button is getting sticky. It's supposedly supposed to help. I did try it before. It does help a little bit, but it doesn't completely cure it. So you just want to get every single one, and And you know, where the buttons are is pretty obvious to tell, you know, it just has the same formation, so you just want to make sure to get all of them. Now putting it back in sometimes can be fun. Obviously this piece goes here. And just basically put it all back together. And the cool part about this is that, you know, to fit a button back in, these little grooves here actually kind of show you, you know, which way the button goes, so you don't have to just guess or keep looking. You can kind of just tell right away, you know, where each button goes, and you don't have to mess it up or anything like that. So it's kind of nice. They were smart about that, weren't they? After a while, you kind of get to know where each button goes, so whatever. Always make sure the black side here is up, or facing up, I should say. It's pretty self-explanatory putting it back together. After a while, it'll just be so second nature to you that it, you know, you don't really have to think about anything. So, yep. And everything just falls back into place. If you did forget, you know, how to put it back on, then you can just open up another controller of yours and kind of see the pattern of it, because sometimes it can get a little bit confusing. Putting it back in like this, fits right there. Make sure to plug this back in. That kind of is important if you want your controller to work. Okay, put this back in nicely. Alright, so now you have your thumbstick back in there. Looks pretty normal, right? Now when you close it, like I said before, make sure these are in their little molds there. Make sure you remember the L and R buttons here. Okay. And just fit the screws back in. Okay, and you're back to having your regular controller. You know, sometimes just test to see if all the buttons feel like they are being pushed down correctly. And if you're still kind of skeptical about it, you can just, you know, plug your controller in and make sure that it actually functions well. Make sure each button is registering correctly, and you're pretty much good to go. So yep, that was my tutorial on how to take apart, clean it, and then reassemble it back in, and I hope that you have a perfect controller. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon. Bye.